addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me a notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping more for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubble still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bad.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I want to thank you guys for joining us for episode 7 of This, That, and the Third podcast. As always, with Shannon, Bam, and Hook. Today, we have a very interesting topic. We're going to be discussing who's got it tougher, single moms or single dads. And I think that this is going to be a very intriguing conversation. I think hearing different perspectives. I'm really curious. I'm really excited. I'm a dad. I don't consider myself a single dad, but I'm a father of 2. I just want to hear about everybody's perspective. So Shannon, what do you think? Like, how do you think this is going to go?
So of course, I'm gonna have to err on the side of us ladies, but I'm gonna give y'all a chance to say y'all piece, argue your case. The age of the sassy men. We're gonna see what y'all got to say.
Here we go.
All right. Y'all different now. Y'all different.
Here we go.
What's up?
Talking about sassy men. That's gonna be a topic for another day. All right. So for the viewers and the listeners, make sure you guys comment. Make sure you react, share, and subscribe. And just as a reminder, we do stream live here on Facebook and YouTube, but also we'll be available after the conclusion of the live feed, and we'll be available on Spotify, Podbean, and pretty much all of the podcast platforms, Amazon, iHeart, Apple Podcasts. So we're all over. So yeah, so don't use the excuse that you don't know where to find us. All you got to do is search for This, That, and the Third, and we certainly appreciate that. So before we get started, we want to give our guests an opportunity to introduce themselves, tell you about themselves. As always, ladies are first. So Miss Chandrika, if you would please start us off.
So I'm Chandrika. I'm a single mother of 3 beautiful children. 2 of them are grown, and then I have one that is in high school. So thank you for having me. I am happy to be here. I think.
Right. All right, good deal. All right, Shay, what you got?
Yeah, definitely ladies first, but winners last, though.
See?
I just figured I'd throw it first. Shots fired.
Pew, pew, pew.
No, but it's all love. My name is Shay Hurley, a.k.a. DJ Shay Butter. I am a owner of an online radio station and a media company. The online radio station is called House of Harley Radio. And we've been in existence for 11 years. I kind of took a little hiatus because I moved to the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. And I was living in Columbia, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm ready to go. I'm a single parent father, full time, 24/7, 365, single parent father of boy girl twins. They are 19. And I actually let me rewind because I like to be transparent. I am a full-time single parent of 2 children, but I just found out that I have a child that I didn't know about. So, but yeah, so I got 3 now. That's a whole nother story.
All right, good deal.
Have you back,
I
Shay?
appreciate. I know, right? All right, last but not least, take it away.
Hey, what's going on? This is Coach Sean. Intro about myself: I'm an educator and also a host of a podcast called Men Are From Mars. And just excited to be here. I want to thank you all for having me. And I am also a father of 4 sons. Actually, and my baby is 9. My oldest turned 29 on yesterday.
All right, good deal. And again, thank you guys for thank y'all for doing this, man. And if nothing else, based on the intros, we have an abundance of experience when it comes to parenting, right? So I think we have the perfect panel. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started, man. So I guess I wanna try to differentiate like exactly the difference between the two, or if there even is a difference. So first, I want to start with Chandrika and Shannon. This question is specifically for you guys. What is your definition of a single mom?
Well, my definition is just a woman who's unmarried. You can have a father in the picture, but if she's still living at home with her children without a man in the home, she's a single parent.
Okay, that's simple, huh?
That's simple. And I didn't say before we get started, I'm a single mom of a 27 and a 25-year-old.
Okay.
She's
Chandrika, what you got?
You don't believe herself.
What'd you say?
Now you laughing at your kid's age is like you don't believe it yourself.
Because I ain't no single mama no more. They grown. I was just kidding. And y'all following me up.
Chandrika, what about you?
Say my definition of a single parent would be definitely what Shannon said as well. But I also want to add a mother who is not getting financial support from the father, or a father who's doing it entirely by herself.
All right, good deal. And Shay and Kushan, I want to swing it to y'all. So the ladies have given their definition of what a single mom is. So from you guys' perspective, and Shay, I want to start with you because you're a first timer. What is your definition of a single dad? You're muted, brother.
He muted himself.
I sure did because I made some noise. I'm sorry. Basically, the opposite of what the lady said. You know, just a man that is taking care of their children full time. I kind of beg to differ with a man that says that they are a single parent where they are getting like made a big assistance from the mother. But, you know, because I do not look at this job as a very easy job, as a very difficult job to raise children on your own. So basically a man that raises children full time on his own. That's it.
All right, Koshan, what say you?
Well, I think that for the sake of discussion, we should distinguish, or like you said, differentiate, because I think that when it comes to data and statistics, it's a nominal category, as in single with just one. But I think that in many cases, we mistake a solo parent for a single parent, because like the lady said, if you're not married, you're a single, right? But that does not mean that you are a solo parent, because there's a difference. So I think for what people are assuming when they hear single parent, is like a solo parent, one person doing it without support of another parent, financially, emotionally, and things like that. So luckily, I am a I have two older kids and I have two children by my ex-wife. So I've never been I was unwed at a time, but even then, I was never a solo parent. I think there's a difference.
So you throwing in a whole new term into the vernacular, a solo parent. That's a new one for me. So you done switched the game up.
Just so our listeners can understand, because some people say, single, we hear single parent household and things like that. That's one, um, but that doesn't mean like, you know, my older sons, their mom was a single parent household, but like I took care of everything, every single thing financially. So I don't think that was considered, and not just financially, but I mean everything. Pick up from school, drop off homework, like everything. So she was never a solo parent, but in legal terms, she was single.
Yeah. And and Shannon and I have on previous topics, we've had this conversation before. And I'll say the same thing now that I said then. I think there's a difference, but well, we were talking about single moms then, but for the sake of this conversation, we're going to say parent because we're not singling one gender or another out. But there's a difference, in my opinion, between a single parent and a parent that's single. For me, a parent that's single is simply they got kids and they're unmarried, kind of what everybody's been saying. But also for me, a true single parent is somebody who's doing it 100% alone. To me, it doesn't matter if the non-custodial parent is offering simply financial assistance, if they're offering emotional assistance, if they're if they're divvying up time between the child. To me, that doesn't constitute a single parent, primarily because they have help in some way, shape, or form. To me, like I was raised by a single mom, and when I say single mom, I mean just that. I never went to my dad's house and never went on vacations with him. He didn't offer any financial help or anything like that for me and my siblings. So it was just simply us and our mom. So there was no outside the home help. And one of the comments kind of speaks to or gives some elaboration on what we're talking about. Jazz says there's no difference outside of a single father do not have 100% mother tools, and the single mother does not have 100% father tools. And I think that's pretty much it. I was raised by a single mom, so I know all the tools that mothers have when they're in that single capacity. But we can't expect moms to do what dads do and what dads to do what moms do. It's a bit different there. So I totally agree with what Jazz said. But moving on, I do want to ask y'all, and please feel free to answer in any order you wish. What are some challenges faced by single moms? We're talking specifically about the moms. So as a single mom for you, Shandrika, and you, Shannon, tell us some of the challenges you face, and also Shay and Kojan, if you've either were raised by a single mom or if you know female
Okay.
friends, relatives who are single moms, just speak on your experience. But Shandrika, we'll start with you and then we'll kick it to Shannon. So what are some
I'll go
challenges
last.
for single moms?
I would say in my experience, one of the things that I have experienced was probably the stigma of being a single mom. Um, Sometimes they come across, or you come across people who ask, well, are they all by the same dad? Do you have different baby daddies, or were you married? Are you divorced, or anything like that? Like pretty much all in your business. Not that it shouldn't matter because they all came from the same place. If you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying. So so that would be one of them. Um, my children are fortunate to have had a positive male role model in my brother. Not all single mothers have that. I think that would be a difficulty because you can't just have any and everybody, every male around your kids. That's a difficulty finding positive role models for your children when you're a single mom. Um, so yeah, I'll let Shannon take over.
Yeah, I was kind of say the same thing. It's like the culture. Like when you are the mother, the world expects for you to be the point of contact, you know, for everything. When the child is at school and they get hurt, when there's a disciplinary problem, like most of the time, the first thing people do is refer to the mother. They never really refer to the father. And it's a very hard dynamic to establish that the father is also responsible for the child, because everyone always, the first thing they do is say, "Where's your mom? You know, where your mother at?" And I think that's one of the hardest things, is that even when you do have help, right? Even when it is the other person's week or the other person's weekend, people are still looking for the mother in the situation. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges for being a single mother. Even if you're trying to develop a peaceful co-parenting situation, society is always looking for the mother, and that's a lot of pressure.
Okay, so I want to address two things that before Shay and Coach Sean come on. First thing is, I do agree with Chandrika because she said that you get all these questions, especially when you have multiple kids. You know, like how many baby daddies you got, or you know, does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? Whether they're about the same parent or the same man or a different man. I mean, they all came from the same place. But I do understand how annoying that can be. Because my mom got a lot of the same things, because me and all my siblings have different dads. You know, and when people hear us, like to me, like it doesn't bother me, but like when we say, yeah, they were like, well, you and your brother don't look nothing alike. I'm like, well, shit, we ain't got the same dad, you know, and then that brings forth something else. But I mean, the way I see it, if you come from the same place, you don't get much more closer than that. You know, I mean, we came from the same mom. So I do agree with Chandrika. Second thing is, so Shannon, I want to ask you a question, but first, like you said that the mom is seen to be as the point of contact, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So people say the first thing to think about is to call the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess this question is really going to be twofold. One, do you think that's really a societal thing where society just automatically assumes, okay, we're going to go to mom first? Or do you think that's more so in the Black community, where, you know, if the school has to reach out to a parent, they don't even consider reaching out to the dad because they automatically assume mom is either she's doing it by herself, or she's just, you know, the point of contact. So do you think that's just society, or you think mostly Black, I guess the people view the Black community in that way?
It's probably more cultural than anything, but I think that there's a lot of that also in other ethnicities, where the mother is considered the nurturer, the parent, the one that hones in on the children, and usually the father is given like a role more of a provider, not necessarily the nurturer in the family. So I think it probably, I don't know, I'm not a white woman, I don't know, right? All I know is my own culture.
You sure about it?
Huh?
You sure you ain't a white woman?
I'm sure. Look at this. So I don't know for sure, but I think it's probably a lot of it's cultural, but I think it also happens on both sides.
Gotcha.
People are looking for the mother when the children go astray, go awry, or when there's a problem, a medical issue.
Yeah.
They're looking for the mother.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. All right, Shay, Sean, what y'all got, man? So do y'all think like what are some challenges do you think of it that single moms are facing?
Single moms or single dads?
Single moms. I want to hear from y'all about single moms as well.
Be nice. You know, we face a lot of challenges.
Oh, no. First, I want to say, like, you know, I know that I asked about like what's the form, like what's the form and what's the layout here about the show, and if it's a debate or discussion. And I love debating and I love discussion. So first, I do want to say that I have all the respect for mothers. Like being on this journey of being a single parent father, and Shannon, and shout out to Shannon for inviting me though. I just want to give you that shout out personally. But no, it's single mothers, man. It's hard. It's hard, and it's vice versa for me as a single parent father. I have nothing but the utmost respect, because, you know, when I look at women, you know, women to me, they birth our children. To me, it's like they birthed our prince and princesses, to become kings and queens, And so I have nothing but the utmost respect for women. You got to carry them for 9 months. You got to deliver them. You got to push them out. You got to breastfeed them. You got to do all that. And so, when like Mother's Day come, I tell people, please don't say Happy Mother's Day to me, because I am not a mother. I do not have those. I was raised by my mother and my father. My father was a military man, so and he was in the Army, retired. I was in the Air Force. I have a brother in the Army, and I'm a man. I do man things. I'm a father. I do father things. Now I've had to, and I'm gonna tie this with a bow to come back. I've had to water myself down as I went through the process to not be so tough, and kind of, give a hug when they need a hug, or cry with them if they're crying, or, do whatever it takes to do to help raise my kids. So as far as women, I feel like they go through so much. Like, I feel like as far as like the societal means, as far as like wages and how they're treated in public in the news and our social media. I do believe that, most people going in relationships, they're looking for love, but at some point these relationships go sour and you have a child in the middle, and, unfortunately the child has to go somewhere. And most of the time it goes with the mother. And I'm just one of those fortunate ones that was able to get was awarded full custody of my kids. But that struggle is real, and I don't take that lightly. And I give all the love to women and that are single parent mothers, and mothers altogether that are married or they're in relationships. However, I think that some women get a bad rap, but I do feel that some of these issues, that I do feel like just as much as us men, I do feel like some women kind of create their scenarios themselves by staying too long in relationships, being with a guy where the sex is good, well, it's money or whatever else, and you're trying to change the man and you end up with kids. So there's those women that are, on one hand, try to get my hand on the camera, that on one hand, they were in love, they were in a relationship, and they gave it all they got, and they truly loved the man, but missed out on the signs. And then on the other hand, you got women that are just loose with it, and I know some women with 6, 7, 8 kids, So yeah.
Yeah, and I think I couldn't agree more with you, because like I said, I was raised by a single mom, so I personally do know how hard it is for all single moms out there. I totally do. Now, going back to one thing that Shay just said about women creating their own scenarios, and not going. I'm going to keep this brief, so I'm not going to go off on a completely different topic. But a previous podcast, we talked about a similar topic, and we talked about how women have options when they become pregnant, right? All right. So if a man in the beginning, if the man says, hey, if the girl gets pregnant, he's like, you know what? I'm not ready to be a father. I'm not ready for that responsibility. And like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kushan. And she says, well, basically trying to make him be somebody he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, she want to make him be a father to the child. He's already said he don't want nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? So now, when the baby's born, you have these expectations that, hey, you need to be for your child, when he said he didn't want a child in the first place. So at this point, now now you're a single mom. And granted, I'm not advocating for abortion. I'm totally pro-choice. I totally am. But what I will say is, don't try to make somebody they're not. You know what I'm saying? If they don't want to be a mom, they don't want to be a dad. Don't try to force that role upon them. But I'll stop there before we go too far. But
I know, because
so
you know
Coach
I'm
Sean,
going to say something
Just
about
run
that.
backstage,
You can't have
Coach.
fun, and
I
then
know
you
that.
gotta tap out. You can't have
I know
fun,
that.
you gotta tap
I
out.
know that's why I tapped out. All right, so hey, Coach Sean, go ahead. So can you hear me? Coach Sean, can you hear me? Man, he over there struggling with
South
something.
Carolina, so we might be having some technical issues.
Nah, he ain't in Hollywood right now. Hey, Cole, can you hear me? He's struggling right now.
He put something in the chat. I don't know if you see it.
Now, did you ask him how old he was?
Well, I've known Coach Sean for a while, and I know Coach Sean have his own struggles. All right. So while we're waiting for Cole to get his stuff together, right? So do you guys think that moms and dads have? Well, no, we talked about moms, right? So what are some? And Shay, I want to start with you. What are some challenges that you face as a single dad?
Oh God, we ain't got enough time, but I'm gonna cut it short. Shannon, you had mentioned the whole thing about like moms are seen as the first point of contact. And I'm here to tell you today, I hated every bit of that. Like,
hello?
That, yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we can you hear us?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I can't hear anyone.
Uh-oh.
Same thing again.
Oh, there you go. But I'll keep talking. But anyway, so like I've had many struggles from the schools, like filling out the applications or even just showing up in the building. It's like I'm not recognized as the parent. It's like I'm recognized as the babysitter or something, or a friend of the family. I hated every bit of that. And I shut every bit of that down when they try to do that with me. Like on the applications, they put mom first. Well, why don't you put parent 1, parent 2?
Mm-hmm.
Don't put mom, then dad, as if I don't matter. Because be honest, it starts with me. It starts with us. So I'm not saying I should be first, but don't make it seem like I don't matter because I'm the man and I'm the father. And Hook, you talked about like, is that a societal thing or is that a Black thing? That's a societal thing. It's like every time I went somewhere, it was like, well, where's the mom? Or when I take my daughter to get her hair done, where's the mom? I go to the beauty supply store to get supplies for my daughter for me to do her hair, because I know how to do her hair. And they would keep seeing me come in and out and buying the stuff. And then they would ask, like, where's the mother? And I'm like, my first thing, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter? And I guess the answer to that is how some of and I don't like, and so you have men take care of their responsibility. Men take care of their responsibility. Males don't. And so when I hear women talking about how men are this, men are that, or men are this, I said, don't know, those are males. I'm in the brotherhood and the brotherhood of men and fathers. Don't lump me up in that book with the males that take your money, drive your car, not working a job, not trying to build a family or anything like that. So my thing was that me as a single parent father, I'll even say that I've even been accused of using my kids on social media for fame and money, when all I was trying to do, and it broke my heart because it came from somebody that I respect and has been around me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm displaying myself as a father and a single parent father to give other single parent fathers hope, and to give to erase this narrative that a man cannot handle being a parent. you know, we can. My dad raised me and my two brothers. And so with my mother. So I've been through so much, even dating. Dating is horrible. Now you would think women are very nurturing, right? But that's not true. Some women, yes, quote unquote, I found out the hard way through dating that women, not all, some, because some people say, don't say all, don't say women, some women nurturing. They're nurturing when it comes to their children. But when a man brings their children, it's like, and you have them they'll deal with a man's child if they're with them for like a weekend. But every day, hell no. They want that child to get up out of that house. And I have been in relationships where that was apparent and they ended quick. And so I could keep going. I really could, but I want to give opportunity for other people to talk.
I know, I'm messing with Khalid, but I was just going to say real quick. First thing I like that you said is that it starts with the men. I like when you said that because I feel like a lot of it may be another topic for another day, but you know how I am, Hook. I feel like a lot of our societal problems start with the men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And like you're talking about them being men versus males.
Mm-hmm.
That sets the tone for a lot of things. Even when you talk about rearing children, when a man walks in the room, the children behave different, the women behave different. It really does set the tone. So I like that you said that. We need to put that up for a topic one day.
Yeah, and I think that what we as a society need to do, we really need to start normalizing the fact that fathers can fill some of those roles that mothers traditionally or inherently have. For like one phrase that I hate with a passion, like, because y'all know, like I post my girls on social media all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate when people say you're a good dad. Like, how do you know that? Because I post a picture with them on social media. Like that could be my first. That could be my first time seeing them in 2 years. You know, so just because I post a picture, like that's to me, that's the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Just being there for your kids. And like a lot of people, like people who know me know this, but like I always say I have 2 girls. One is my biological daughter. One is my wife's daughter, my stepdaughter. I don't use the word step. That's my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, I don't play them type of games. You know, my mom always raised me. If you take the cow, you got to get the calf too, right? So I don't distinguish my girls. I don't, take one over the other. And I, when me and my wife first got together, I had a talk with my daughter, and I'm like, listen, because you my biological daughter, that don't mean I'm gonna take your side. So if you're wrong, I'm gonna tell you wrong. And she had to it was an adjustment for her. But she had to know I'm not going to take your side just because you're my daughter. So now they widely recognize that I have 2 girls and not just one. But dads do. I do agree with you, Shannon, that it does begin with fathers, and a lot of times we do set the tone for how that relationship is going to go and how that parenting is going to go as well. And Coach Sean, can you back with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. I wanted to answer the first question about the challenges faced by single moms. I apologize.
Yes.
I kept getting calls and messages, but
Nah, go ahead. You good?
I too. My parents divorced when I was like 3, so I was raised by a single mom, and I want to address what Shannon said, and I agree and disagree. I disagree with the part about being contacted, right? Because people contact whoever is listed as the point of contact. So that's an easy fix. When we talk about the schools and everybody else calling, just list the father's information or grandmother or whoever, and they'll contact them. But I think that single mothers, of course, are called on by their children because they are the first and initial point of contact. And I think that a challenge that they face is having to, there are a few challenges, having to assume multiple roles when in some of them they aren't prepared to. I'm I talk to a lot of single mothers, right, and try to work with them and try to step in as a mentor because there's some things they just don't know, you know. And like as men, we know what it means when our 12, 13-year-old son is taking longer in the shower or the shampoo is coming up missing. but
We know what that means.
right. Some mothers don't, right? They're oblivious to it, and just little talks that you have to have with them. In addition, one of the other challenges, because I was back and forth with my parents a lot, is basically hiding intimacy in relationships. You know, because mothers care about that a lot, and I respect my mom for that. And it threw me off seeing how loose women were when I got older, because like I never ever saw my mom like having men in and out of the house. Whatever she did, she kept it away from us. My dad, on the other hand, I walk in his room and literally they would be between 1 to 3 women in his bed, and I was the norm, and I never thought anything less about my dad, right? And he never had to hide what he was doing or who he was doing it with. But for women, and as an adult, I remember dating women with kids and being told, "Hey, you got to go." I'm like, "It's 4 o'clock." You're right. And my kids get up at 5:30. They're not going to see you here. You have to go. And having that little walk of shame, but I respected them for that, you know, for keeping that away. But that is a challenge. So it's like, when is this the right time? When are you allowed to meet my kids? And there are a lot more that women, single mothers, have to take into account and consideration that fathers don't. And at the end of the day, it all falls back on the custodial parent, which in most cases is the single mother, because you know, dads make promises and don't show up. They don't attend the games. They don't do this. They don't do that. Moms have to make a way out of nowhere. They have to make it happen. Christmases, I know guys that make promises and they just don't show up. So that causes a lot of anxiety as a mother, because you're always having to prepare and always having to do. And that's something that's just really, really not fair. And having been married, I saw how I was able to alleviate all of that, you know, with just being a father in the house. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and to your point, Cole, I do completely agree with you. We can like a lot of those things we can normalize, like when you are at school or if there's a school function or whatnot. You know, why not make the dad the point of contact? Why not involve him and say, hey, make sure that you know, make him the primary point of contact. So I think these are all things that we can you know, proactively do. And also you mentioned setting the standard for your kids in terms of relationships. I know that before my wife and I got married, we began cohabiting before we got married, and we didn't sleep in the same room until after we got married, you know, because we wanted to set that standard that, hey, this is not, you know, first of all, me living here it really goes against what we are raised to do. But we wanted to separate that by they never saw us in the same go to bed in the same room until after we got married. So that's
I do that same thing, and that does it sets a good example, in my opinion, for them, and letting them know what is expected and what was not expected. I did the same thing. We slept in different rooms until after we were married. One other thing that bothered me was my oldest son moved in with me when he got to high school. You know, he got to that point where his voice got a little bass in it, and he thought he could get fly with his mom. I was like, just send him here. Yeah, let me punch him in the chest a few times and straighten him out. But what was frustrating to me was I did not have a legal custody agreement. You know, it's like, this is my son, he's here. But the schools would not allow me to do anything with him. And he had my name. His name is Koshawn Mitchell Jr., but they would let my wife do any and everything with the assumption that that's her child and he wasn't her biological child. But that was one of the most frustrating things, that I had to call my wife, his stepmom, just to sign him out of school. She would have to give them permission for me to get my son out because I didn't have a legal custody agreement. And they just assumed that custody in the state of South Carolina goes to the mother, although the names are different.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And one thing I will say, being a non-custodial dad, the system ain't built for us, brother.
It's not at all, man. At all.
It's not built for us, and you have to, and not that I want to go on a tangent about the plight of black dads, but because society expects the moms to be the primary caregivers, they expect the moms to do basically be superwoman is what they expect the moms to do. Sometimes they think dads aren't capable of equal or given similar treatment, but again, that's I don't think that's a black thing, a white thing. I think that's just society as a whole.
Right. I agree.
See, I didn't even know that was the issue because I didn't have no daddy to list as a point of contact, right? I didn't even know y'all had that plight because it was not even a thing. I mean, he was around, but he wasn't coming to no school to pick up no kid when the nurse called or when the teacher called or anything like that.
You don't know. Put his name.
I know.
He might make a way. He might have a cousin, an auntie, somebody that could bring him or drop him off, or let the village.
We had Cash App back in that day. We probably would have seen him less.
Yeah, and I think that
give the village the opportunity to help out.
And I think the schools and people they see it. They realize the difference, because what my daughter would do is when she would get, and she's a good kid, so she ain't got into a lot of trouble, but they'd be like, if something happened, they'd be like, I'm gonna call your mom, and she'd be like, okay, call her. But they were like, I'm gonna call your dad. Like, no, please don't call him. You know what I mean? Because she already knows, she know her mom gonna take her side. But with me, I'm not gonna. It's not that I'm gonna not take her side, but I'm gonna look at the facts. And everybody know their kids, and I already know if my daughter lying or not. So I ain't gonna call her out or nothing. But I listen, and in my head I'm thinking, yeah, this motherfucker right here lying, bro. You know what I mean?
As soon as you heard the story, you was like, yeah, she did that shit.
Yeah, she did that shit.
She did that shit.
And I want to get to some of these comments. We got a few good ones. So the first one, Myra says, society stigmatizes single mothers, but when single fathers are raising children, they're seen as a hero. I've heard that before. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that even though people don't expect a lot from dads, when they see dads take on that role? Because I already told you, like when they see me post a picture on social media, oh, you're such a good daddy, not even knowing, I can be doing anything. So do you think there's any truth to what Myra's saying?
I think so, because of how rare of an occurrence it is. That dads are heralded, and because of what they're compared to, there's so many I don't even want to say deadbeat. I was trying to find another word, but inactive fathers. There's so many fathers, right? That, like you said, the little things, you get praise for being a great dad. People say the same thing with me, and I'm like, these are my kids. All we did was go to the Y. We went in the pool and we went to Sam's. A hot dog combo was $1.50. I spent $3 on 2 kids, and y'all act like I just took a church bus to Disney World. But because, it's like the bar has been lowered so bad when it comes to parental support and what fathers do to contribute. And with being recently divorced, even when it comes to dating, right? It was hard because women didn't believe that I was spending that much time with my kids. And I'm like, listen, I get off at 4:30. I go straight to my boys. We spend time. I drop them off by 7:30 or 8. I'm never going to be available before then, because I don't want my sons to listen to me speaking about different things and talking to multiple women, because they're already having to process mom and dad not being together. So if you can't call me after 8, then it's a problem. And their immediate assumption is I'm talking to other women. Like, really? Right. So I'm putting you to 8 o'clock shift. But it's like, y'all really not accustomed to men spending time with their kids. Hey, Hook, but another $1.15 more off of Shannon. She minus 25 right now.
She's down 25.
She's down 25. But yeah, that and I think it's just because of so many absent fathers. It guys that are present seem like an anomaly when really that's not the case.
I think can I say something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we as men and fathers need to talk to each other more about fatherhood, you know, and like really have heart to heart conversations about fatherhood, because you know, Hook, everything that you're saying is like, it's so sad. You know, it shouldn't be that way. And Shannon, I hear what you say as far as like, from what I gather from you, I think that you look forward to the man being the leader and taking control, positive control of the family. And so I also believe that when our women, there should be more women that talk positively of us fathers more, because until we have a positive look on fatherhood, we're always going to be having these discussions. It's never going to go away. And so I don't know. It's going to take time, conversation, years. And that's why I did what I did, as far as, because I became a full-time single parent father when my kids were 4 years old. So that's why I've been doing what I'm doing, because I just, from some of the struggles that I've had, and even non-custodial parents, fathers, like, you know, my brother is a non-custodial father, and he gets raked under the coals, but he's a great father, you know, by the system. And it's like, you know, he's paying $3,000 a month for child support and all that, and he's there, and he's paying for school, and he's doing what he's supposed to do as a father. But, you know, sometimes, even when a father's doing what he's supposed to be doing, sometimes our women do whatever they can to make us look bad, you know. And even with me raising even with me raising my kids, raising our kids, the mother gives me the worst and hardest time too. Like, so it's like we never catch a break. It's like we got to figure out how we can see fathers more in a positive light as caretakers and nurturers. And we got to figure out how we can do that.
I appreciate what you said about, because we talked about this on another show, about, do men hold other men accountable for how they behave and what they do? And I know, Hook, y'all said that y'all do.
Yes, we do.
It's a lot of ways in society that you don't see the result of that. Like, where is the result of that? If you guys are really holding each other to the fire and holding each other accountable as men, where is the result of that?
I mean, here's the thing about here's the thing about accountability, though. Like, you can hold somebody accountable, but that don't mean they gonna listen to what you have to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's when I talk about like me and my homeboys, like, and my cousins, like, all of us are dads in some way, shape, or form. We're all active in some way, shape, or form, and we talk all the time. Like, if I have a parenting concern, the first place I go is to the group chat, and I'm texting my homeboys and my cousins, and we talking about, hey man, this is what I'm faced with. How would y'all handle this? Or if I did something, like, one thing I say about me, I'm very introspective. So if I do something, I'm always the first to hold myself accountable. So I'm like, hey man, this is what happened. This is what I did. Do y'all think I did the right thing? And, you know, and I'll listen to them. I hear them out, and we hold each other to the fire. And if they think I'm fucked up, they'll say it. If they think I did the right thing, but ultimately it's up to me to take that and act upon it. So men, believe it or not, we do hold each other accountable. And something else that was brought up before, a lot of moms don't make it easy. You know, they don't make it easy at all. Like I would like in you know, I'm not one to put my personal business out there, but my daughter, my biological daughter, is she'll be 15 in October, and this has been hell. You know what I mean? It's not been easy, and you know, I know that I do what I'm supposed to do, but at the same time, everybody ain't gonna always be appreciative, and everybody's not really going to give you the credit you deserve. So, as the mom, father, whatever, the worst thing you can do is look for credit outside yourself, because as long as you know in your heart of hearts you're doing the right thing, I think that's by far the most important thing. And going back to what Shay said earlier about the system ain't for us, bro. Like I pay, you know what I mean? I've been in my daughter's life since day one. I paid child support since day one. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then, like the very first thing that
Didn't even give you a chance to bring the Pampers by, huh?
bro, listen, and like the very first thing my daughter's mom said to me the day she told me she was pregnant, she said, "I'm pregnant and I ain't having no abortion." Like you didn't even give me a chance to even say nothing. Like now, was I looking to have a kid? No, but I mean, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, you pregnant? I ain't gonna be there." So I, because we weren't together at the time, but when I found out she was pregnant, it was kind of forced. Does that if that makes sense? So, I mean, so we ended up being together, but it was primarily because of my daughter. So obviously that didn't last long, and when that fell apart, it's been 14 years of hell, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is, I still persevered, and I had to stop looking for. When I was younger, I wanted her to say, "Hey, I appreciate everything you're doing." But when I realized I wasn't getting that, I wasn't going to let her dictate how I felt about myself as a father, because I knew I was doing what I was supposed to do. But like this whole parenting thing is not for the faint of heart, man. It really isn't, and we still got a little bit of time left, and there was one more question I did want to get to before we give our closing statements. So we talk about single parenting. So do you guys think there are different struggles when you're single-handedly raising a child of the opposite gender? Like if you're a mom raising a boy, or if you're a dad raising a daughter. Do you think there's a different type of struggle when it comes to that? And Chandrique, I ain't heard from you in a while. I want to hear from you. So what do you think about that?
I mean, we, of course, as a single mother, we often hear, because I have two boys. One is almost 25, the other one will be 15 Saturday. So you always hear that you can't teach a boy how to be a man. But when raising kids, when raising my sons and raising my son, I never thought about trying to teach him to be a man, quote unquote. I always taught him to be a good person. And with that being said, I mean, you know right from wrong. You've been raised well. I did, what I did. You know right from wrong. You know what it takes to handle your responsibility. You know never to give up. You know accountability. Now, if you choose not to take it, then that's something different. But I would say that I don't see it as being easier or harder raising a different gender than what you have, because being a parent is hard in general with any gender, boy or girl. So I think that if you just teach your children, boys and girls, to just be the best that they can be, you know what I'm saying? Um, do what's right, try to live your best life for you and not for anybody else, then the gender role, pretty much is going to come.
Okay. Shay, what about you? What do you think?
I'm sorry, I had went out for a minute. I missed part of what she said. As far as like a father raising a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Do you think there's a difference?
Oh yeah, there's a big difference. It's huge. Now, this may not be a popular opinion, but I do feel like now I feel like the mother and father, they're like yin and yang, they're important. But I do feel like if a father is not in their children's life, I hope nobody don't come running for me. But if the father is not, if the father is not in a son or daughter's life, it's not good. It's not so I have the daughter that I just found out about. She's 21 years old. I found out she was my daughter when she was turning 19. And so I can see the complete difference of her being raised by a bunch of women with no man involved versus, me raising my daughter. My daughter is a very strong woman. She's tough. I do see the dynamic of where the mother and the nurturing of a woman is missing. especially for my son. But as far as my daughter, daughters, they need their fathers bad. Like, they are the first ones that kind of set the ground rules on how they're going to be as they get older. Whether they're going to be out there being a hoe, or they're going to be out there not handling business and taking care of themselves and whatnot. And so it's very important for there's a lot of differences. With me raising my daughter, like she's actually I will say she's a lot harder to raise than my son, because you gotta, daughters like to talk to their fathers. They like to be around them. They like to learn. And so me and my daughter have a very special relationship where I allow her to be herself. Like, she curses and everything around me. And so I allow her to be herself. And she loves that about me. And so, not often, and as far as a parent as a whole, not everybody's going to raise their kids the same. But I feel like, as far as me, I want my kids to be who they are and show me who they are so I can redirect and change. But as far as raising a daughter, it's a big difference. It's like night and day. But I do feel on the front of mothers raising sons, and I hate to say this, but it's you can, just like I can tell that my kids need a mother. I can tell when a son needs their father. Like, it's right there, it's right in front of your face. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have a nation of young boys that are so sensitive. And I just hate this discussion of calling men sassy, man. It's like, and I know that's a whole nother can of worms, but it's like, I'm a Cancer. I'm emotional, like, but at the same time, I'm not sassy emotional. And I like expressing my emotion. Like, I don't want to veer off into a different subject, but I'm talking about women raising boys. And it's like, but I do see what women mean by the sassiness, because I've witnessed it with my own eyes and online. And for example, I'm gonna go through this real fast. Like, and Shannon, you may have posted this. I don't know. Let me know. But
probably,
like a woman, they'll post like their inbox conversation with a guy, right? And it'll literally go like this. It'll go, the guy will be like, "Hey," the woman will be like, "Hey," and the guy will be like, "Thanks for adding me." And the lady be like, "Oh, no problem." And then the guy will be like, "So I want to take you out on a date. I was kind of checking you out, and I want to take you on a date. And I think you're very beautiful and everything." And you're like, "Well, thank you, but I need you to take time to get to know me before we go on a date. I don't know you, so I need to get to know you." The next line, he's like, "Well, bitch, that's why you lonely now. That's why you ain't got no man. You gonna be lonely forever." And
that escalated quick.
I did post something similar to that, Shay. You're right. I did.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What happened? Like,
yeah,
why'd you get mad?" And so I see the point of the sassiness, but I bet you if you backtrack, you'll find out that he was probably raised by a single mother that didn't know how to control him. Because I know I got 2 older brothers, and so that makes 3 of us. I know for a fact if I wasn't raised by my father, we would be totally different. You would be talking to a totally different person right now. And so, the children need both. They need their mother and their father. And so fathers have a special relationship with their daughters. Mothers have a special relationship with their sons. And vice versa, fathers have a special relationship with their sons, with what they have to raise them to be men, and mothers have to raise their daughters to be women. So it's like, I hate the fact that we got to do this with our kids. And because I'll share this real quick because I know we got to go. I do IT work for a county here in the Atlanta area. And I went to a juvenile court and I just saw a boy just bawling out, crying. And I didn't know what it was, but I could see the hurt on his face. So I'm pretty sure it had to do something to do with like a father not being around, or probably both parents. And so parents are important, both mothers and fathers, but there is a difference between fathers with daughters versus, mothers with sons.
Yeah, no doubt. And Cole and Shannon, real quick. So what do you guys think? Do you think there's a difference between raising a child of opposite gender?
I think it is. I have a son. I have a daughter. It's a very different dynamic and very different interactions that happen between a mother and her son and a mother and her daughter. Like some people probably say I'm more harder on my daughter sometimes than I am on my son. And I've had to check myself on that only because I'm raising her from a standpoint as I want her to be a strong woman. And I already have accepted the fact that I can't teach my son how to be a man. So my interaction with her is more me teaching her how to be a woman. So it comes off as a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more stronger, because I know that's my responsibility to teach her how to be a woman. Whereas my son, I never, like Shandrika was saying, I never tried to teach him how to be a man because I can't. I'm not a man. I could always teach him how to be a good person. So the interactions may have seemed less intense than it would have been with my daughter. But there is definitely a difference. Just because I can only teach what I know. I can only teach who I am, and I'm not a man.
Correct.
Right. Cool. What you got?
So I agree with what Shannon said, and I always tell these women when they're willing to be honest with themselves, they raise their daughters, but they call her their sons. And I like the way you justified it by saying you can only teach what you know. And I asked them, the way they're raising their sons, is that someone that they would marry or even date? Because they really, really coddle them, and they find these men 25, 30, and they're not independent because you never gave them the opportunity to be independent. You were struggling to run up credit cards for $1,000 proms for them. And then you blink and they're grown men, but never had to take responsibilities for anything. But luckily I don't have daughters and I have sons, but I did have nieces, and I watched the interaction between my father and my sisters, and it is different, but each child, I think your child and you know what your child can withstand, what they're capable of, and what responsibilities they can handle. And we do the best that we can as far as preparing our kids for the world that we know, right? And what path we want them to take. So I spent a lot of time with my older sons, just preparing them for life, like teaching them how to fight, teaching them about watching people because of the area where we grew up, right? How to handle yourself, keeping your head on a swivel, staying away from drugs and things that I saw, knowing the importance of an education and being prepared. My younger boys, I'm older and tired, and it's like, look, man, y'all not bleeding. All right, go ahead, do whatever. So it comes down to where you are in life as well, for what you do with them. But it is a difference. And the sassy part, I wanted to address that. Like, what is a sassy man? Honestly, I mean, I'm from the country, so I don't know what sassy, like what. Seriously, ladies, what are some characteristics of a sassy male?
Coach Sean, they don't even know.
Yeah. When I say that, I'm talking about men who want to be praised because they are expected to be men. Like, that is your role. You are expected to be a leader, a provider, to set the tone for the family, to hold yourself accountable in a position. I should not have to praise you for that. No more than I expect to be praised for giving birth, because that is my role as a woman. I create life, I give birth.
So right? That's sassy.
Yeah,
is that sassy or is that their love language?
No, it's sassy. I'm talking about the men who be like, Women don't love us because we paid the mortgage and she didn't even say thank you. Nigga, you supposed to. What the fuck is she talking about? Right? Like that kind of thing. Like that
I don't
irritates
think y'all have a universal definition of sassy because,
It's
like
not.
women,
It's
yeah,
not.
women say it for different reasons. One I heard say the man's in the mirror more than she is.
the solo parent role, and that's something we ain't never even heard. So it's possible that
But-
everyone has a different definition of being sassy, but that is mine. That is what I just told you. I feel like men should not be praised for being
down
a man.
35.
And I'm gonna go back one more time before we go and talk to this Joseph cat. It wasn't about I wasn't being aggressive with my son. I'm a disciplinarian, and anybody will tell you that when it comes to raising my son, he was raised with structure and discipline. But I was just talking about being able to impart into him things that I have naturally. I could do that with my son, like I could do that with my daughter.
Yeah,
now,
that's
Shannon, have we done sassy men yet as a topic? We haven't done that, have we? No. We got to put that on the docket, man. Like,
how much time do you have on the show?
Let's define it because that's my definition.
How much time is this? How long is the show?
We overtime.
We got 2 hours
for that show.
Yeah, you need at least 2 hours. So can I ask a question, Shannon?
What's up?
All right, this is going on a tangent a little. How do you feel about the 50-50 or men paying all the bills and stuff like that? How do you feel about that? And you're in a situation with you.
Particularly with me, like I've never had a relationship where a man paid 50-50. We pay the bills. So
do you object to a man?
Huh?
I mean, would you want to? I mean, do you feel a man should be responsible for paying bills? Like he handles the major, women handle the miscellaneous, like man handles the mortgage, things like that, or are they no like roles assigned?
No, we should be responsible for paying the bills so we live a happy, prosperous life, whatever that looks like. Sometimes I've been in a position where most of my life I've made more than any man I've ever dated. So it was never about expecting him to pay a certain amount of money. You know, you put your share in the account, I put my share in the account, and we make sure your car no paid, my car no paid, the mortgage paid, the kids taken care of.
That explains the attitude. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Say what, Shay?
What attitude? I don't have no attitude.
Yeah, that explains the attitude, but we'll discuss that later.
And what was that, Shay? You said something?
I said, have you ever made, because you made the most money, have you ever made anyone feel less of a man?
No, I've always tried not to. I've always tried my best not to. I mean,
did you try not?
Well, yeah, because like I was just going to give an example. I bought a truck once, and the gentleman I was dating at the time said, "Can you tell people I bought you this truck?"
What?
Yeah, so it was.
He said, "What now?"
Like,
he has a complex. He has a complex.
So I know me going.
I don't know if that's sassy or something else.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when my kids were younger, I did carpooling and all that kind of stuff, right? So I didn't want a minivan. I went and bought an Armada. And it wasn't about him. I just wanted a nice car to drive all the kids around in.
Right.
But when I purchased it, it made him feel some kind of way,
Mm.
So that's what I meant by I've never intentionally tried to emasculate a man. But I think because I am such a strong woman, because I am going to make sure I can provide for my children. And because I was a single mom for such a long time, and I just have a mindset, I'm the matriarch in my family also. So I also make sure that
make it happen.
Things happen. I'm the baby of the group, but I also make sure things happen for my family. And because I have that position, sometimes it's hard for men to also understand that I'm also very submissive when it comes to my mate. Like they can't reconcile the two.
Now, I think that goes back to what Shay said earlier about he was the dude you referring to, Shannon. He was probably raised by a single mom.
Actually,
did you lie? Did you lie for him?
He had a mother and father in the household. He was not.
Did you lie for him?
Wow.
Huh?
Did you lie for him?
Hell no, I ain't lie. Don't
I know, right? He's an anomaly. Nah, but this has been a great
He's
conversation,
still
man.
telling people he bought that truck for you.
I know, right? All on social media taking pictures. Yeah, this
Yeah,
one
then she left me up that model full.
Yeah. No, but this has been a great conversation, man. I appreciate all the perspectives. And before we peel out, I want to hear from the guests here one last time. So and it's cool. We'll start with you. Then we'll kick it to Shay. Then we'll kick it to Chandrika. So, what are some closing statements you want to leave the audience with?
I want to just thank everybody. I mean, thank you all for having me. I enjoy things like this and hearing different perspectives from a diverse group of people because I like learning, and I've learned a few things tonight. Again, thank you all. Too.
Good deal. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes.
Shay, what you got?
Oh, it's all on me. Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed myself. It's been a minute since I've been on a podcast. It's been a minute since I've done my own. But like I said, I moved and I'm here in the Atlanta area. So look out for me and what I got coming up because I got some really cool things coming up. Check out House of page. Check out H2O Media and IT services. And so, I love being a father. I love being a provider. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to that day that I find my person, man. I want to be married. I want to be in a good relationship and I want to raise a family and grow a family. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. So, I do want to say that, hey, we need to do better and work together and stop seeing each other as the enemy because we both need us brothers and sisters. We need each other more than ever, especially now with this election coming up. I was supposed to be at that debate, but I didn't get my press credentials. So it's all good.
Yeah. As soon as we done here, I'm gonna go see what they're lying about over there in the debate anyway. So and Shay, make sure in the group chat, in the group thread, make sure you post your info, man. So we do want to support you. So
I'll support y'all. I'll do the same.
Yeah, just make sure you do that. And Chandrika, take us on. What you got?
So I want to say thank you for inviting me. I know I was kind of hesitant. I was really, really nervous, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I want to give a shout out to the 3 people who made me who I am: Jalen, Deshanti, and Tristan, my beautiful 3 children. And I have to give a shout out to my people who held it down in the comments, shouting me out. I love my girls. I love my support system. Thank you all.
Nah, that's dope. All right, Shannon, as always, it is time for your Shannonism.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank y'all both for coming on, Shay and Chandrika. I'm so glad you guys were willing to share your perspectives on the show tonight. And I'm just gonna say, I think we all have it hard because we usually fight over the same issues, right? Single fathers have it hard for the same reasons that single mothers have it hard. And if we find a way to come together, we could probably solve a lot of these issues without having to feel like we're at odds with each other. So I think that's one thing we need to start trying to work on is how do we come together with these same issues, right? It's hard to raise kids. It's hard for a woman to raise kids. It's hard for a man to raise kids. So how do we come together?
Absolutely agree. And for my hookism, man, is real simple. I've been doing this father thing for nearly 2 decades now. And what I will say that it's really hard to find somebody that you're equally yoked with. So I think that's really going to be the most important thing. But in life, oftentimes we have to deal with the cards. We have to use the cards that we're dealt with. So we can't always. We don't have full control over circumstances and things. But to echo what everyone else is saying, moms need dads and dads need moms. So even if the relationship goes south, if it doesn't work out, I think that you have to find a way to be better for each other and to raise your kids properly. I really hate the men versus women dynamic, and society does it all the time. They have all these threads, all these memes, all these posts trying to put men against women, men bashing women, women calling men hoes and stuff like that. I try to get away from all that because the fact is we need to embrace each other and we have to be there for each other. One thing I do agree with. kind of what everyone else was saying. I think that in most cases, not all cases, so I use some. I think that moms do sometimes want to be their daughter's friends, and I also think that in some cases they tend to baby their sons a little bit. So make them a little, you know what I mean? Because that's why you need that positive male reinforcement. And conversely, I think the dads tend to overcompensate because, you know, I know for me personally, I'm guilty of that because I didn't have a dad growing up in my life. So I try to overcompensate and be super dad sometimes. And sometimes that backfires. So I think it's really important that you just be who you are and just learn on the fly. Just know that as a parent, you're not always going to make the right decisions. But you know, you just have to learn from your mistakes. But again, this has been a great conversation, and it never fails. Every single topic we have, we always get a topic we can use the next time around. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the next topic you see on here is about sassy men. I ain't saying that's gonna happen, but I mean, we gonna see what we gonna see how it goes.
And Coach Sean got to be back on. Talk about
I know, right? I know, right? So again, Cole,
I'm gonna be back.
I know, right? And
we gotta get a little bucket hook. We're gonna start charging somebody when they lose points. They gotta put some money up.
Hey, Shannon already down 35, so I don't even know.
Right. I got 100 points. I don't know who he talking about.
You only got 65 left. If that's the case, you holding it down. Nah, but and Cole, when did your podcast go live?
We go live Fridays at 5 p.m. And it's called Men Are From Mars. And what we do is women come in with various questions and they get the perspective from men. So the topics basically change, but it's all rooted in communication. We want everybody to understand the importance of effective communication. But it's really funny because we love the women like Shannon, because they'll hear an answer from 10 men, but if it's not what they've heard in their little girls group, they don't want to hear it. They don't agree. All the men are wrong.
You already done judged me wrong. I don't even have no girls group.
You're invited. We want you there. You're invited. Yeah. But no, we just want to give the perspective of men, and we share a lot of the same topics and discussions and things that you talk about, and we invite guys out too. So Shay, please join us. You're in the hot seat, so we'll let you all know whatever the women ask, different questions that they ask, and we want to give them an honest male's perspective. That's all it's about.
Yeah, and it's real dope. I've been on there maybe 3 or 4 times. So I missed it last week. I plan to do it again this week, but it is really dope. I really enjoy it, so that's why I'm glad Cole was able to do it.
They love your perspective. They love your perspective, Hook, because you know, we all bring something different to it, you know, and that is what it's about. And of course, you know, I'm the old country chauvinist, you know.
No, but it's hey, down 40, bro. Like, hey,
down 40. We got 10 more. 10 more. We got to take a ride to Lexington now.
Nah, but this has been great, man. So again, Cole, Chandrika, Shay, thank you guys for coming on. Shannon, as always, you know how we roll. So I appreciate you as always. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I throw one quick joke in, like real quick? Y'all got to talk about this 6-figure thing, man. Cause y'all got to talk about this 6-figure thing, man. They expect us to have all this 6 figures now. It's like, okay, I got the 6 figures now. Now what? What am I supposed to do? You know,
I know. And that'll give us a different.
It depends on where you.
That'll give us a different perspective because we talked about 50
backstory
before, but that's a different dynamic though. So yeah, I'm with you.
What is the 6-figure thing?
That's the
income.
The whole
that's
6-figure like
thing.
I think it's more of a social media thing where they expecting a man to have 6-figure to even think about looking at him, but she work at the hair store, you know, stuff like that.
And her roach is flying and talking about 6 figures.
Not the
flying. I don't know them women.
As well. No, but again, hey, and don't be surprised if y'all get hit up and say, hey, come back on the show, man. But again, thank you guys for joining. This was great. For the viewers, make sure you guys share it. Make sure you subscribe to all our platforms. But this was great, man. And until next time, we'll see you.
See y'all.
All right. See ya.